Nothing But the Truth, Chapter 16. Tuesday, April 3rd. Letter sent to Margaret Narwin. To Margaret Narwin, these days there's so much talk about young people and education. It seems to me that people like you, who don't believe in patriotism, cause the problems. You should find a better profession for your lack of ability. Linda Dorchester, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Letter sent to Margaret Narwin. Dear Margaret Narwin, as a teacher in the Dayton, Ohio school system for 10 years, I am dismayed and horrified that in this day and age, a colleague of mine should suspend a student from school for singing the national anthem. We suffer enough from unfair criticism. The profession does not need people like you who make it so hard for the rest of us. Carlton Haven, Dayton, Ohio. Letter sent to Margaret Narwin. Margaret Narwin, I'm a veteran who fought for this country and gave his blood, and I really hate people like you. David Make, Eugene, Oregon. Letter sent to Margaret Narwin. Margaret Narwin, surely you have something better to do with your classroom authority than attacking kids who express their love of our country? Laura Jacobs, San Diego, California. 7:15 a.m., conversation between Dr. Albert Seymour and Dr. Gertrude Doan in the superintendent's office. Dr. Doan, how many are there? Dr. Seymour, telegrams, 10, 15. I haven't counted exactly. I suspect more will be coming. This one is from Idaho. Incredible. Every one of them demanding we fire this Narwin woman. Not this one. Well, the overwhelming majority. And I had 12 calls at my home last night. From whom? People in town. Gert. Oh, I'm doing the wrong voices. Gert. People who vote. They're outraged. And they believe that story? I'm beginning to believe it. Al, what do you expect me to do? Support Peg Narwin? A TV network wants to interview people. You're not going to let them. No, protect the privacy of minors and all that stuff. From what I gather, talk show hosts, radio have picked up the story. The board wants me to issue a statement. Gert, I have an appointment with this Ted Griffin at 9:15. Griffin is running for board. Exactly. He's already made speeches about this business. Look, Gert, I'm sorry, but between you and me, quote me, and I'll deny it. I don't care about the board. I can handle them, but the budget, I don't need to tell you. If we lose again, I know. People scream if the kids are not educated. Then they scream if you ask for the money to do it. I know. I want to see the file on this Narwin woman. Why? I have to decide what to do. Before your meeting with this Griffin? Exactly. When you get to your office, send one of my secretaries over here with it. Al, Gert, my job is to make sure these kids get educated. Whatever it takes. Send it. 7:30 a.m., conversation between Philip Malloy and his parents during breakfast. Mr. Malloy, you don't have to be nervous about anything. You were right. The fact that they moved you out of that woman's class proves you were right. Just homeroom. I have English with her. I'm sure she won't give you any more trouble. It's just the other kids. You said they hated her too. Yeah. You want me to drive you? No, I'm meeting Ken. You'll be fine. You know how to make it work? No. Same as I've told you. Half your runs are won at the start. Head up, leap out of the blocks, show them what you can do. Yeah, easy for you. The only reason I didn't make it to the Olympics, I know. Biggest regret I've ever had was dropping out of college. But you had to, I suppose. Phil, you better go if you don't want to miss your bus. 7:40 a.m., conversation between Philip Malloy and Ken Barchett on the way to the school bus. Phil, what's happening? Ken, nothing. What's with you? Phil, not much. We're going to run this afternoon. Ken, can't. Phil, how come? Ken, got track team right after school. Coach told us it's going to be at least 3 hours. You really should have tried out, man. You know that Polanski kid? Brian Polanski? Right. Coach has him down for the 400. Phil, he can't do anything. Ken, best we got. You could. Phil, sure. Ken, you mad at the coach or something? Phil, no, why? Ken, you should change your mind. Phil, about what? Ken, being on the team. Phil, yeah, I might. I got Mr. Lunger for homeroom. Ken, you told me. Phil, want to know why I didn't go out for the team? Ken, okay. Phil, Narwin. Ken, what's she have to do with it? Phil, she almost flunked me in English. That meant I wasn't allowed to try out. Ken, that why you're mad at her? Phil, but I'm going to ask her if I could do extra work for credit. Ken, think she'll give it to you? Phil, I don't know. No reason she shouldn't. I'll ask. Ken, she might be mad at you. Phil, if you just tell them you're sorry, that's all. Ken, be great if you could get on the team. Phil, that's what I've been saying. 7:45 a.m., conversation between Margaret Narwin and Dr. Gertrude Doan. Miss Narwin, I don't believe it. Don't. It's incredible. Narwin, how many telegrams are there? Doan, here? Narwin, yes. About almost 200, Narwin. There'll be letters. Doan, well, the superintendent's office put out a statement explaining the true situation. Miss Narwin, what did he say? Doan, Peg, you have to accept the idea that it's all a misunderstanding. Narwin, easy for you to say. Doan, you can't blame yourself. Narwin, I pleaded with Joe not to suspend him. Doan, I know you said that. We've issued a statement. I think it's good. Narwin, may I see it? Doan, of course, here. What's the matter? Narwin, this statement doesn't support me. Doan, Peg, it does. Narwin, where? Doan, Peg, understand that. Narwin, will the boy be in school today? Doan, I suppose. I need to tell you, I said no to some TV people. Narwin, no, absolutely not. Doan, exactly. They can't come in without permission. Peg, do you want to take the day off? Narwin, no, they'll come to my home. Doan, it's perfectly understandable. Narwin, Gert, I don't understand. I don't. I've been teaching. Don't. People believe what they read. Narwin, I have my class. Don't. Peg, as of this morning, I've moved Philip from your English class. He's with Mr. Keegan. Narwin, why'd you do that? Don't. Probably for the best. Miss Narwin, best for whom? Don't. For you, the boy. Narwin, Gert, people will misconstrue. Don't. We're trying to be even-handed. Narwin, he's a student. I'm a teacher. Hands are not meant to be even. Don't. That's my decision. 7:55 a.m. Conversation between Philip Malloy and Allison Dorset. Philip! Oh, hi. I just want you to know that I think what you did was really mean. What? Narwin's one of the best teachers. All the kids say so. It's really embarrassing. What are you talking about? You were just doing that to annoy her. Who? Miss Narwin. Everyone knows it. She's so fair. That's not true. Well, if you're not even going to listen... 8 o'clock a.m., memo, Harrison School District, where our children are educated, not just taught. Official statement. It is the practice in all Harrison schools that during morning exercises the national anthem is played, part of our program in support of traditional American values. There is no rule that prohibits a student from singing along if he or she so desires. The Harrison School District is pleased to encourage appropriate displays of patriotism. It is the responsibility of our classroom teachers to monitor student behavior in this regard. 8:03 a.m. Discussion in Bernard Lunzer's homeroom class. Mr. Lunzer, let's go, seats. My God, it's Philip Malloy, Harrison High's own Uncle Sam. Take any empty seat, Philip, I'll set it later. Intercom voice of Dr. Gertrude Doan, Harrison High Principal. Good morning to all students, faculty, and staff. Today is Tuesday, April 3rd. Today will be a Schedule B day. Mr. Lunzer, that's B for bozos, boys and girls, B. Dr. Doan, today in history, on this day in the year 1366, King Henry IV of England was born. Mr. Lunzer, not to be confused with a fifth of Scotch. Dr. Doan, today in 1860, the Pony Express began. Mr. Lunzer, faster than today's P.O. Dr. Doan, April 3rd in 1961, actor Eddie Murphy was born. Mr. Lunzer, Eddie Murphy, my only competition. Dr. Doan, please all rise and stand at respectful silent attention for the playing of our national anthem. Mr. Lunzer, Philip Malloy, what? Mr. Lunzer, you want to sing? Student, yeah, sing. Mr. Lunzer, keep the lip button, Brian. Philip Malloy, no. Okay, just want to make sure your rights are protected. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. Are you sure, Philip? Yeah. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? 8:15 a.m., phone conversation between Dr. Gertrude Doan and Robert Duval, reporter from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Mr. Duval, but that's just it. I've heard your superintendent's statement. Dr. Doan, Mr. Duval, I am trying to run a school here with more than 400 students. Mr. Duval, well, ma'am, I spoke to your local reporter, the woman who broke the story, Miss Stewart. She gave it to me. Would you like me to quote from the statement? Dr. Doan, Mr. Duval, I know what it says. Mr. Duval, no, now, it's not exactly in support of your Miss Narwin, is it? Would you agree? Dr. Doan, Mr. Duval, I really don't think there's anything more to say. Mr. Duval, what I'm hearing, ma'am, is that you're not altogether happy with the statement. Dr. Doan, I did not say that. Mr. Duval, I understand, but wouldn't this teacher, this Miss Narwin, like her side of the story set out? Dr. Doan, I can't speak for her. She's a fine person who... Mr. Duval, Dr. Doan, I hope I can understand your conflict, but if I'm understanding this correctly, there's something like a shift going on here against the teacher. Now, I don't have to go through you. I could approach her. Dr. Doan, why are you so interested? Mr. Duval, I sense there's something more here. I'm not even sure what. I confess, that interests me. I sure would appreciate your cooperation. Dr. Doan, I would have to ask her. Mr. Duval, I understand, but I'm prepared to fly east right away. Dr. Doan, give me your number again. Mr. Duval, sure thing.